What's going on, everybody? I'm Scott Oots. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, do I assign properties or do I double close properties? And with that, how do I not disclose an assignment fee? That is actually a great question. I've been to a lot of masterminds, a lot of events, and I get this question all the time. So when I started my company back in 2015, we used to double close everything. We used to actually have the buyer send in the money. We would use the buyer's money to close that first transaction. And then California, escrow companies, title companies started really frowning on that.
Are you serious?
Is it illegal? No. Is it frowned upon? Is it something we probably shouldn't do? Yeah, it definitely is. So I started shifting away from doing that double close to actually assigning all of our deals. So no matter what our wholesale spread is, we're still going to be assigning the deal. And we do a straight across assignment right from the seller to that buyer. Makes it very, very easy and clean for our escrow process.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Your state might be a little different. You may be an attorney state. You may just be a title state. In California, we are an escrow and title state, which means we have a company right there in the middle, which is escrow, that acts as the middleman or intermediary between us and the title company. And escrow serves a lot of good purposes because it's almost like we have a built-in transaction coordinator at escrow because they're processing all the stuff through that we may have had to do on other cases. So when we start looking at assignments and we start looking at the reason we do this, it makes the transaction so clean. I never take title. My company does not take title to the properties. So that makes it really nice as well. Tax purposes, things like that, we're not taking title and being subject to potentially any capital gains or anything like that as well.
Uh-oh. Capital gains tax.
Our buyers, when we go ahead and we determine what offer price we're going to give the sellers, we always have our buyers in mind. We always want to work backwards. Is how much would our buyer want to make on this property if they were to buy this today? Once we start determining that number, we start getting back to how much we'd offer the seller. We get that contract signed with that seller and we go into escrow. Our buyer will know how much that we are making on the deal. I mean, there's really no way to hide that. And there's no reason to hide that. Ultimately, if you have a good relationship with your buyer's not going to worry too much about what it is that you're making because they're still going to be getting the return that they want on that property in order to make that property profitable for them. When you look at the seller side, let's be honest. If you get a contract signed with a seller and the seller sees you're making $80,000 on their property, they might have a little bit of a problem with that.
This is awkward.
So in most cases, you don't want that number disclosed to the seller. However, you do not want to hide from the seller what it is you're doing, right? That is very important. Transparency is very important. So the seller knows that you are going to be assigning the property. It should be in your contract showing that's happening, and you should always have complete transparency with the seller. However, how much money you're going to make on the property really doesn't matter. Just like how much money they're going to make on the property after their mortgage is paid off doesn't really matter either. It's not our business. So when we go ahead and start looking at assignments, our escrow company, when they work through our deals, the seller knows that they're selling us the house at, say, $200,000. The seller doesn't need to know that we're reselling that house or assigning that interest off for $215,000. It just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
So in most cases, the seller's not finding out that number. There are times where sellers are very savvy and they look through the paperwork and say, wait, you're assigning it? And they'll ask questions over to escrow. But the assignment fee does not need to be disclosed that direction, at least in California and with the escrow company I use. So I'm going to be very clear on some of these things. Every state is a bit different and I don't know every state. So if you're an attorney state, you're a title state, you may have different requirements that you have to follow. And honestly, if you're watching this video potentially a year from now, there may have been more that's changed since then. So make sure as you guys are watching these things, you're looking for the most recent content that's out there because I don't know what California is going to do in a year. I don't know if they're going to say, hey, wholesaling can't even happen without a license. We have no idea. Some of those states have started doing that already. So don't take what I'm saying as you have to do this specific way. I always recommend consult your escrow company, consult your title company. consult your attorney to make sure that you are doing everything legally and you are doing everything fair for the seller and the buyer. So I hope this gave you some simple advice. And whether I assign or double close, I will always continue to assign my deals. It makes things so much cleaner, so much simpler. And honestly, I just want to get my assignment fee and move on to the next deal. So hopefully this helped you guys out. I'm Scott Oots. If you guys enjoyed this video, if this helped you out even a little bit, make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you guys can see any new videos I have come out. And as always, I got a couple videos over here you guys need to make sure to check out. I'm Scott Oots. We'll talk to you later.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.